Honestly, I don't know how I'm going to start this video. As you could probably see, this is late at night. I'm currently talking about this again to the camera because I don't care. 2025 is officially over as of 2 days ago. 48 hours ago. I am recording this at midnight. Midnight on January 3rd. I am recording this at freaking midnight. I can't even believe how long it's only been 2 days since 2025 ended, and it has been a wild ride for not only me, but for Transformers in general. And as such, I believe it is best to talk about the best and worst parts of last year, as I did this year, as I did in 2024. However, there is a couple good things better this year than last year, than the year before. So I will say, but just spoiler alert, 2025 is a better year to live in than 2024. I'm just saying. Even with the fucking bullshit of some of the stuff that I had to go through. So, let's begin with what happened in January, February, and March. Basically the first 3-4 months of basically the first quarter of the year. First quarter year, we had the leaks of a lot of stuff coming out. Our first Studio Series Titan was leaked. We didn't know what it was till June. Transformers 1 ended the box office an absolute failure. Transformers Reactivate was deactivated. And as for stuff with stop motion and other franchises and whatnot, I'd say it was a blessing in disguise that we got some extra fan content out of it. The controversy for Galvatron's Revenge was ongoing, and I had lost my job. Typical. And that was right when I was at the highest peak of my moment, and I bought things like Planet X Trypticon, my most wanted Holy Grail, which we will get to the Grails later. And I also had like a good collection and whatnot. But I had to make my ends, so once again, the collection depleted big time. I collected some big combiners, didn't even get to review them, they got sold anyway. Over and over again. You notice that most of the combiners on my toy shelf are knockoffs? That's the only reason why I couldn't sell them. Otherwise, I would have. They're knockoffs. No one wants knockoffs. They want the genuine, legitimate thing. I also couldn't sell anything that had upgrades on it because, well, unless it was complete and people were asking for good money. I also sold my first Titan class. Again, for less money than I should have. But you know what? I had to make men's meat. Still didn't work. I went through some more Let's Build. And I also did Blockies. Blockies was my biggest obsession this year. For 2025, it was all about Blockies. Because ever since I got the Sentinel one, I was like, should I get more? And then came April. Around my birthday. And I decided, you know what? Let's get the whole box. Nothing could go wrong. I lied to myself. I did not think I would be addicted to Blockies this badly. But we will also talk about that. As for my friendship with the Fire Brothers, with Aiden, and also with Promise the Creator server, it has gotten extremely and immensely better. I made a lot of new friends, including one called Nemesis. I think made Nemesis a friend way back in it was like the fourth quarter of 2025, but we'll get there. And the first I've heard of Nemesis was when Aiden was getting good figures from him, and also he had a job, and well, I mean, we both had our ups and downs last year. But really, nothing really crazy happened. Well, besides from me having to deal with the fallout of a friend that betrayed me. And I was still dealing with it for pretty much almost until the first anniversary. Like, it was less than a month before the first anniversary that I was like, yeah, we're finally over with it. Move on. That didn't help the fact that things would get a lot crazier. We had, I admittedly had a big crash out. And I just kind of secluded myself from a lot of things. Also, for whatever fucking reason, because of Sonic 3, which I did watch in theaters, and I hated it. I hated the experience, but I loved it when I watched it at home. Again, why is home better for an experience than it is at the theaters? Because kids and some other bullshit. But the point still stands. I was in a Sonic hype for like several months straight. Like, it was to the point that I couldn't even talk to about half the people that I wanted to. And it was to the point that I almost got the Sonic collab that they revealed for this year. And I ended up getting Lego Sonic sets at the beginning of this year. In fact, this was a year I officially went to the mall that I've been basically been blocked from, all because of, like, I guess, favoritism. But now I actually got to go to it to my first time. I loved it. I did a vlog and everything. I did the builds, and it was an extremely fun time. I absolutely loved going to the Lego store. Actually going to the Lego store the first time was just something I was not even expecting to do. I forgot that there was a Lego store at the thing until I actually got there. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta record this. And I don't care if that officially made Lego Group like, no, we're never going to put you. I don't care. I loved going there, and I loved just having that experience. That was only the first month. That was like the best part of January. Best part of February, I would say, easily is the basically getting Trypticon in hand and doing an unboxing. And then I also got my first ever Titan class, which is the Tidal Wave. I never got to keep him, however, but I will probably rectify that this year. I'm probably going to get him back this year, considering the fact that he's still relatively a new Titan from 2024. Titans usually last about 2 years before they're, like, expired for good, and they go up in price big time. So the sooner I get this Titan, the better. Oh, and there's also a different Titan that we'll be talking about for 2026 that was revealed in 2025, but we'll get there. But no, what really fucks me up with this is probably what caused everything to just slow down indefinitely on YouTube for the longest time. And that is the loss of our Discord server. For 3 years, February 10th, 2022, we had the Discord server for 3 years. And it was murdered on May 8th by a fucking scammer. And the worst part is, this was on the same exact day that I shipped out Planet X Trypticon. Looking back on it, I really should have just put the phone down. I could have saved us all this trouble. But instead, we rebuilt. And it's because of this, I just stopped posting much on YouTube. In fact, the only thing I probably posted on YouTube this year was a few reactions, a couple of unboxings, and Let's Builds. There was barely any Transformer reviews, and you can tell I'm getting tired of them. Last year was the year that made it set in stone. I'm going to end YouTube in 2026, which we're going to talk about. And for the longest time, I had driven an absolute withdrawal from YouTube. And because I was in that big depressive state again, I wasn't buying much Transformers. I was ignoring the Primes because I was learning how shitty most of them were in terms of personality, and I didn't want that reflected on my channel. I didn't want to feel like I was collecting some of the worst characters to exist. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just stop collecting half the shit, collect only what I want, and there we go. My big break came about 2 months later when I finally landed another job. And I'm pretty sure you've seen me gush about Transformers. And I was like, you know what? Get this, you want to go. It was also around this time that we got the official reveal of Titan Class Grimlock. And pretty much also a lot of the Wave 1 stuff for this year, to be honest. Actually, no, not Wave 1. Wave 1. Wave 1 Studio Series. Wave 1 Studio Series and Age of the Primes. It was all clunked out was actually around the same time that I did get the job. And I've had the job for, again, it's been it's been 6 months. Almost 6 months. Almost 6 months I had this job. And this time, it feels like I'm not going to lose this job because I'm actually doing great. Coworkers love me. The managers love me. Hell, even the higher-ups above my boss love me. They know about me. They praise me. They say I'm doing a great job. Yeah, I have anger issues here and there. And yeah, the first 3 months was terrible because I was working in the back. But once I was really in my comfort zone, boy, did my true self at work shine. And I was glad for it. And it was thus that I started getting to other things. And one of those is a new Transformers franchise that has been slowly and surely catching my attention until I eventually bought one of them. Metal Cardbot. My first Metal Cardbot figure is an experience that I have never felt in any Transformers capacity in the last year. Besides a certain few, but those are very expensive figures that will you would need, this one I just paid a leader class price for, and it was so worth it. It felt exactly what I needed to feel in a Transformers figure, and it wasn't a Transformer. It's a Metal Cardbot. And also, there's a lot of discrepancy about people saying that. But the point is, there was a TV show, and there was everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to check this out. I'm glad I did. I fell in love with this Korean show that, yes, I had to wait a while for translations. But once it did, holy shit, this is an epic show. And I find out that a lot of people on fanfictions are like, hey, let's cross over both franchises. What could go wrong? And I was like, dude, this is the best thing that's ever happened. And the best part is I joined their fan server. And nothing, and I mean nothing, can compare to the fact that this is probably one of the best servers I joined this year. I didn't join many servers. And in fact, I even left a couple. Including, unfortunately, TFI server. It was getting too toxic for me. And there was just some that was like, I just wasn't even having any fun. Like, for example, hashtag server, which is the Earthspark server that I used to be in. Not the one where they kick me out for wrongful reasons. Like really, just causing a debate caused me to kicked out. You're a fucking hypocrite. You know that? But anyways, besides that, I basically left that server because it's been dead. It is so dead in there. It wasn't even fun. And I even tried being inside of the RB zone thing that hashtag recommended me, like at the end of the year, I still left it. It's dead. There's nothing for me there. There's nothing for me. I didn't fit in. Or rather, it died before I could even have a chance. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. So, it was then that I basically started getting better figures, bigger figures, a lot more Lego sets, more knockoffs, more things that pissed me off on Let's Build, and it was to the point that I was like, I had to stop doing Let's Build. And I said to myself multiple times, I would end records for Let's Build by the end of the year. Suffice to say, Blocky keeps dragging me back into the game, and there's still some left build Lego builds that I've yet to actually do, such as the one above me right now, which is the Horus, as in Horizon Zero Dawn Horus, and there's still a few that I'm going to be getting for like the first few months of 2026, which is basically the new Lego Minecraft sets. And let me tell you, Lego Minecraft is like one of the best Lego things I ever invested in myself this year. Genuinely speaking, I did not expect this to go so well. I did not expect to like Lego Minecraft so much to the point that I wanted the 2026 sets. And yes, I kind of want to get a knockoff version of the Mountain Cave, the biggest Lego Minecraft set to date. But you know what? Excuse me. I'm going to hold off onto that until I know for sure I have enough space for it. Which, I won't get that space until, until I start changing more shelves around and stuff. Because, let's face it, I now have 3 shelves in my room. Adding a 4th is probably going to be where my limit is at. Not to mention, I have 3 Titans on the ground. And 2 of the shelves are full of nothing but Lego. One of them is meant for Transformers. So when I add a second shelf for Transformers, you know I'm getting fucked. But the best part is the fact that these shelves haven't diminished since I've started building them. Well, scratch that. There might be some Lego sets that just were sold off entirely, like Ninjago. Almost all my Ninjago sets are gone. And that's because I fell out of love with the show entirely. 2025 did it. This was the 15th anniversary. This year's the 15th anniversary of the show. But guess what? They really, well, actually no, scratch that. It's actually December 13th, 2010. So basically, around that time, I was like, I fully committed to the idea that I wasn't a Ninjago fan anymore. And it's because of 2 factors. 1, Dragon's Rising Season 3 in general. And 2, a frustrating Ninjago build that left me no satisfaction when I was finally finished. But I still have it because I refuse to fucking take down my hard work. And besides, it's still kind of playable, so I kept it around. But I was like, I'm done. I moved on. I'm going to stick with the movie AU. And I know people don't like the movie, but fuck that, I guess. Then I basically finished all the Terrans finally. I finally finished the Terrans this year. This was 2025. Or was it 2024? I forgot what year I finished the Terrans. No, yeah, I did finish it this year. I also got Soundwave. The rarest Earthspark figure to date. Ever. Going for $200 or more on eBay. And guess what? $55. Easy snag. Only saw him once in stores. Never again. I should have picked him up for my friend Holly, but you know what? It's fine. She doesn't mind. She got her hashtag by the end of the year. That's all that matters. So, I basically started getting more of my job. I basically started getting to a lot of other stuff. And ultimately, I also started getting probably my first biggest life achievement. Getting my own car. And let me just tell you, that shit is probably the best part that I also included that at the beginning of the collection video as well. Because not only do I now have a vehicle for transportation for work, I also have it as a vehicle to calm down after work, before work, to vent, to just go out, stop being stuck in a house. And I've been doing a lot more toy hunts. I should be recording more toy hunts in general, but as far as I'm doing for toy hunts, I've been finding a lot of good figures. Hell, it's the reason why some of the stuff for 2026 is on my shelf right now. Like, for example, Nemesis Prime. Supposed to be slated for January. He's already out. I got him, and I even got him on a sale. That's how good this is. And to be honest, this year has had a lot of ups and downs, but there is way more ups than I could ever see coming. However, the biggest letdown of 2025 has to be what happened in December. Legitimately, Earthspark dying in such a horrendous fashion is what really made me feel bad for 2025. It was this close to a good year. Also, this is the year that I officially fell out of Marvel for good and DC. I didn't even watch Superman. I was just like, whatever. But, like, there was some good video games this year. There were some good movies this year. There was a Minecraft movie that absolutely fucking sucked ass. There was the Fire Brothers, and I love being on every single one of his streams. I've been almost on almost every one of his streams the last year. But to me, the biggest downfall of the entire year has to be Earthspark. The show that basically was part of kickstarting my channel into something that could have been great. But just like my channel, it died. In a horrendous fashion because of its own creator's hubris. And this is where I was basically, it was like 13 months. 13 months. We only had 2 updates. A leak, and then an official reveal. And then when the 5 episodes finally happened, it was the biggest letdown of the entire franchise that I've ever suffered. I never wanted to see Earthspark end in such a fucking cliffhanger, but it did. And, well, this is where everything basically went to shit. This is where I was like, this is it. I'm kinda done. I'm kinda getting tired of this franchise. I'm not gonna lie. There's only so much shit I can take before I finally throw the fucking towel. But because Transformers is one of my few hyperfixations that I cannot leave without my wallet dying every week, then it's the only thing that's keeping me going. One of the few things, besides Holly, my family, and whatnot. But most importantly, Earthspark made me. And it was just sad to see how it died. So, about a few months prior, since I was just waiting for nothing to happen, basically, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a Google Docs. And it's just gonna be simply titled The Downfall of Earthspark. And that is where it spawned, probably going to be my greatest and possibly final project of this channel. I wanted to keep this hidden until the video dropped, but I guess I'll just rip the bandage off since it's the beginning of the year. I don't care what happens after. I don't care what happens before. But on July 28th of this year will be my final video of my channel. It's going to be the Earthspark essay. An essay of how much I loved and hated this show, how much it shaped me as a person, and ultimately what it meant for me to be a Transformers fan throughout all of it. To be on YouTube and to be with all of you. And to be honest, there's no better way I can end YouTube than with something that technically started it better than Rise of Unicron did. Which, I'm still keeping tabs on Rise of Unicron. And I might resend this video, like a couple months after this. Like, say, hey, I went to Orlando, Florida for TFCon. But, like, legitimately speaking, after this, there's no reviews. There's no updates. There's nothing for me actually going to be doing recording. What's done is going to be done. By July 28th, all my recording software, everything is just going to be gone. I might bring it back one last time for a few extra things here and there. But as far as I'm standing, this year I'm going to make it count. I'm going to knock out all the Transformer reviews I can. Even if I have to pump them all out. I have almost 200 episodes worth of Let's Build to upload. And I also have to make the script, play the video game, read the books, and watch every single episode of Earthspark, even if it's ones that I absolutely skipped. To truly understand how much is this show mean to me. I hate to end the year. I hate to start the year in such a very, very bold fashion, but 2026 is my final year on YouTube. And it will die on July 28th. Now, why July 28th? Because it's where the show should have ended. And where, in all honesty, my drive for this channel truly ended 3 years ago. After Earthspark Season 1, I completely changed. And then, it kept getting worse because I kept going. And going. And sure, I suck at things sometimes. And sure, I got to stick around for a couple months. For about almost 8 months, I want to say. 7. So I have enough time. Especially if I push through procrastinating. And do stuff like finishing 2 more video games. Because I want to complete at least 3 video games on my channel. 100%. I want to finish. I basically want to be there for Darkness Within's finale. Because I have watched all of them. So Darkness Within Part 6 is the one I'm looking forward to the most in terms of fan projects. I'm be trying to watch a little bit more of Samuel J. Flatman's, aka TFI Creations, backlog, finish animated, and ultimately finish Let's Build, finish reviews, and one final bang with the Earthspark review. I wanted to do something as simple as, like, keep this channel going on forever. Hell, maybe even make a stop-motion project. But frankly, I think putting my heart and soul into something that I have loved and hated and has made so much impact on me more than anything else in the last few years is anything better than creating something new. I rather would end it full circle with how this began. And this whole channel really sparked up the moment that I did the review of TLK Leader Class Megatron, Voyager Class Megatron. I would love to have that video out before then. But if the toy doesn't get revealed or if it doesn't get released by then what better way to end it than for old Leader Class. I'm purposely leaving that one last. And I don't care if these are 2 half-hour videos you have to watch back to back. All I gotta say is, I'm glad I ended 2025 on a good note. Because I did not end 2024 on a good note. I ended it depressed and wanting to leave this fucking year. 2025, I was left with hope that 2026 would be the year that I finally changed my life around for the better. And so, for Christmas, I gave myself the best gift I possibly could to myself. The last Holy Grail. Titan class Nemesis. And so, I'm starting this year fresh. I'm going to try to stick to my plans as much as possible. We'll see how it goes. This actually ended up being a lot more calmer than last year. Because once again, I hated last year. But 2025, 5 out of 10, maybe we'll live again. But I have a feeling 2026 is going to be the year, the best year of this decade. 2025 was close. This year might be it. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for enjoying, and thank you all just for being here. Also, I might also add that with 2023, just because, like 2023 might be tied for best year so far. So, who knows? But if you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider clicking notifications to be updated on updates and videos. As a reward for sitting here, the next video is going to be the Studio Series Barricade review. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, till all are one.